Hey guys, welcome back to Talk House. So on our last episode we reviewed the 2017 Mazda CX-5 and I thought that it would be wise for us to compare apples to apples, and that's why I brought to you the 2017 Toyota Harrier. So stick with me and we'll review this car and get to know, is it the perfect fit or is it the perfect competitor towards the 2017 Mazda CX-5, and why a lot of drivers have still embraced the Toyota Harrier from the first generation to this fourth generation. Stick with me. I'm your host Joseph Njoroge, and let's dive in the review of the 2017 Toyota Harrier, and I'll tell you a few things why this is not your normal Toyota Harrier. So, what is the prima facie of the 2017 Toyota Harrier? Looking at the 2017 Toyota Harrier, Toyota really maintained a simple, minimalistic yet elegant design language. They chose the design language by the name L Finesse. What is the L Finesse design language, if you may ask? The L Finesse design language by Toyota, especially for the Toyota Harrier, is a design language that is aimed to refine this car, make it look elegant, while at the same time making it as aerodynamic as possible. So, looking at your headlights, you have very nice projector headlamps with LED, and flowing down you have very nice fog lights, while at the same time the daytime running lights are also engraved on your front bumper. Also flowing from your left hand side to your right hand side headlight, you also have this very nice subtle chrome appendage on top of your eagle emblem, just to add a sense of luxury and refinement. Flowing down on your bonnet, you also have the golden eagle. Someone tell us on the comment section, what does the golden eagle represent? Flowing down you have very nice air intake, just to make this car cool down, because unlike other Harriers, this Harrier is quite different. We'll talk about that when we progress into the engine. So flowing down you also have the very nice fog lights, just to add more light, especially when you're cruising in areas which have a lot of fog. Flowing down onto your bumper, you have a very nice subtle kind of looking carbon fiber lip that just makes this car pop up and make it look a little bit sporty and aggressive. So I want us to check under the hood of this car and let's see what is different from other Toyota Harriers. So stick with me as we pop under the hood of the 2017 Toyota Harrier. So what do we have under the hood of this 2017 Toyota Harrier? Under the hood of this car you have a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged petrol engine. Yes, you heard me right, a turbocharger on a 2017 Toyota Harrier. This engine is denoted by the code 8ARFTS. This engine produces around 228 horsepower and 350 Newton meters of torque. Also, you're not only limited to these engine options. However, on the 2017 Toyota Harrier, unlike in the Mazda CX-5, you're only limited to petrol engine options. Unlike in the 2017 Mazda CX-5, you also have petrol and diesel engine options. So, which are some of the other petrol engine options that you get on this car? On this car, you can also have a 2-liter inline-4 naturally aspirated engine denoted by the code 3ZRFAE. However, you can still have a hybrid version of this engine, which is denoted by the code 2ARFXE. So let's recap on the types of engine options you get on this car. On this one which we have today, we have a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine that produces around 228 horsepower and 350 Newton meters of torque. The engine code of the turbo is denoted by the code 8ARFTS. However, on the 2-liter natural aspirated engine option, you have the engine code denoted by the letters and numbers 3ZRFAE. The engine option on that one produces around 149 horsepower and 193 Newton meters of torque. However, on the hybrid version, you also have the 2-liter inline-4 hybrid version that denoted by the code 2ARFXE. The hybrid engine produces around 150 horsepower and give or take 206 Newton meters of torque. On the 2017 Toyota Harrier, you do not have diesel engine options. You only have 3 petrol engine options, which are the naturally aspirated, turbocharged, and the hybrid version. So let's cross over to the types of transmissions that you have on this car. So paired to the mated to the engine of this particular Harrier, you have a 6-speed automatic gearbox. Yes, you heard me right. A 6-speed automatic gearbox for the 2-liter turbocharged petrol version. However, if you cross over to the natural aspirated, it comes with a CVT gearbox that Toyota have given it a 7-speed simulation. However, it is a CVT gearbox, but it has been given simulation for 7 gears. When you cross over to the hybrid version, it comes with an eCVT, an electronic CVT. So for the turbocharged engine option, you only get a 6-speed automatic gearbox. However, the power can be delivered to the front wheels or to the rear wheels. So for our case, this car, the power is delivered to the front wheels, making this car a 2-liter turbocharged front wheel drive vehicle. However, depending on the car depending on the engine and the drivetrain that this car comes with, you can have a variety of codes that denote this car. If you did not check that video, I'll put a link in the description. However, for those who did not watch it, let me recap. So depending on the engine version or the drivetrain that this car comes with, you'll have the letters and the numbers AS, ZS or AV, depending on the engine or the drivetrain that this car comes with. So assuming for our case, this car is a 2-liter turbocharged front wheel drive. So on the chassis number, it will have the code ASU60. ASU denotes the engine that this car comes with, and the number 60 denotes the drivetrain that this car comes with. So for the front wheel drive, you have ASU60. However, if you cross over to the natural aspirated, we have the code ZSU60. ZSU60 denotes that this car is a 2-liter natural aspirated but front wheel drive car. However, if you cross over to the hybrid version, you'll have the letters and the numbers AVU60. AVU60 denotes that this car is a 2-liter hybrid car, while it is front wheel drive. So if it is all-wheel drive, you'll have the number 65. So for our case, if this car was a 2-liter turbocharged all-wheel drive, it will have the code ASU65. However, if it is a 2-liter natural aspirated all-wheel drive, it will have the code ZSU65. However, if it is a hybrid 2-liter all-wheel drive, it will have the code and number AVU65. So I hope you're all together. ASU, it is the turbo, ZSU is the natural aspirated, and AVU is the hybrid. 60 will denote front wheel drive, and 65 will denote the all-wheel drive variant. So I hope you have learned a thing or two on how the Harrier named their engine options and their drivetrain. So let's cross over to the side profile, and let's see what parts are the side profile of the 2017 Toyota Harrier. So moving on to the side profile of the 2017 Toyota Harrier, the L-Finis design language not only stops at the front, but also it is carried across the side profile of this car. This car sits on size 18 alloy wheels and alloy wheels that come as standard. But depending on the trim that this car comes with, you may have different types of alloy wheels that this car comes with. So for the turbocharged engine, you'll have this set of alloy wheels. However, for the natural aspirated engine, you'll have some kind of silver alloy wheels. So this car sits on size 18 alloy wheels, and at the front you have your conventional McPherson strap suspended on coilovers. However, if you cross to the rear, you have your rear twisted beam suspended on coil lovers. So let's check the interior of the 2017 Toyota Harrier, and let's see what parts inside the 2017 Toyota Harrier, and let's see if it matches up to the 2017 Mazda CX-5. Once you step inside the 2017 Toyota Harrier, you can tell that everything has been done aesthetically. Looking at your dashboard, you have very nice soft touch material engraved in it. You have a very nice red stitching. That just to remind you that this is not the ordinary Toyota Harrier, rather it is the sport version of the Toyota Harrier. However, when you cross over to the trims that this car comes with, we'll talk about more on the trims. However, let's continue the review for the inside of the 2017 Toyota Harrier. When you start with the steering wheel, you have a very nice multifunctional steering wheel that has been engraved with leather around it. On your left hand side, you have a place where you can control your media. You have a place where you can set the voice command, and you also have a place where you can answer or decline your calls. Moving on to the right hand side of the steering wheel, you also have a place where you can adjust the trip. You also have a place where you can turn on or turn off the lane departure warnings or the collision assistance, which sometimes they can be annoying, especially on Kenyan roads. Also, this car has a telescopic steering column. However, on the 2017 Toyota Harrier, it is electronically controlled. However, depending on the trim that this car comes with, other versions have a manual telescopic control, while this one has automatic telescopic control functions. However, on this car, when you turn it on, the steering wheel will adjust according to how you set it. Also, on this side of the driver, you also have your button where you can engage or disengage your parking brake. On this car, it does not have a foot brake, unlike in other Harrier versions. On this car, it has a button where you can engage or disengage your handbrake or parking brake. Also, you also have your auto hold feature, which you have talked about it a lot of times. Auto hold is the feature which, when you're on a hill and you engage auto hold, it will prevent the car from rolling either backwards or frontwards, especially if you're in traffic. Also, on this car, you also have other fancy features that help to reduce fuel, such as the idling stop, which when you are cruising across the highway and you pattern in traffic, when you come to a standstill, the vehicle will turn off the engine, and if you press the accelerator, it will turn back on the engine. You also have your traction control buttons, and you also have your button that will set for you the headlights to be on auto, meaning if you go into a tunnel, the headlights will automatically turn on. Also, on this car, you also have a button where you can electronically open the tailgate, and also in the Mazda CX-5, you also had a button that automatically opens the tailgate for you. So even crossing over to the door panels, you also have the soft touch leather material that still flows from your dashboard going on to your door cards. Also, on the door cards of this version, you also have something that resembles a fake carbon fiber, but it just adds some touches of elegance and luxury onto this car. Also, on the door card, you also have your very nice eagle emblem, just like you had on the front there. And tell me in the comment section, what does the eagle emblem resemble on the Toyota Harrier? So let's move on to the passenger side, and moving on to the center console. I kid you not, Toyota Harrier did a very nice job making this infotainment system simple yet elegant to use. Unlike in the Mazda CX-5, where you had a very nice a very small infotainment system, on the Toyota Harrier they have placed for you a 7-inch infotainment system, just to make this car look a little bit elegant, sporty and luxurious. Flowing down, you also have your AC. However, on the 2017 Toyota Harrier, you have touchscreen AC, which I'm not a fan of touchscreen AC. I prefer the normal buttons and dials. Moving on to your center console, you also have your column mounted gear stock, unlike in the 2017 Mazda CX-5, you had this part over here. However, it still just gets the job done, and it just makes it a little bit elegant yet premium. Also, flowing down onto the center console, you also have a place where you can put your cup holders, and you also have your 12-volt socket, and you also have your place where you can put your aux cable or your USB charging port. I think Toyota did a very nice job keeping this interior simple yet easy to use. Also, flowing down onto your center console, you also have an armrest here, which also doubles as a more storage space. You still also have your cigarette lighter here, or your 12-volt socket, but it just gets the job done. Flowing on to your sun visor, you also have a place where for the ladies they can use this sun visor when they are not driving to make themselves look a little bit prettier. Also, you also have your reading lights that automatically light when you turn on the mirror or turn it off. Also, you also have your reading lights here just to make this car have some essence of light, especially if you want to access things in the interior when it is dark. Also, but for the 2017 Harrier, they do not hawajakuweka ile mali ya kuweka goggles hapa, unlike where you had in the Mazda CX-5. Also, the seats are kind of bucket style inspired, and they really tuck you in very well. However, on this trim, do not have full leather, unlike the other trim. You have half leather and half suede, but I think it just gets the job done. The full leather, sometimes it can be a little bit uncomfortable to sit, especially when it is hot or especially when it is cold, and do not have heated or cooled leather seats. Do tell me in the comment section below, do you think this interior can match that of the Mazda CX-5, or do you prefer the interior of the Mazda CX-5 versus that of the Toyota Harrier, this one? However, on the interior of this car, this being the middle trim, I think Toyota did a very nice job. So I think we can hop into the rear and let's see what it has to offer at the rear of the 2017 Toyota Harrier, as I tell you more about the trim levels that come with this car. However, on this car, this being the middle trim, do not have JBL speakers, unlike maybe in the Mazda CX-5, where on the top trim you have fancy features like Bose surround sound system. But the sound system on this car just gets the job done. Also forget to talk about the cluster on the speedometer. This car comes with a analog speedometer, meaning you have your conventional numbers and your pointer stick, unlike as compared also to the Mazda CX-5. Do tell me in the comment section, do you think this interior matches that of the 2017 Mazda CX-5? When you hop at the rear of the 2017 Toyota Harrier, you can tell that everything just feels premium, luxurious, and well made. Also, at the rear you also have very nice storage compartments where you can store files or documents at the rear. Also at the rear you also have your dual AC for the passengers, meaning also the passengers can enjoy the AC just as the front passengers would enjoy. Also at the door cards you also have that nice fake carbon fiber thing that just makes this car look a little bit sporty, elegant, and luxurious. You also have very nice door bins that will be convenient if you are storing large water bottles. Also, this car can comfortably fit 3 passengers, unlike maybe in the 2017 Mazda CX-5, where you'll have the transmission tunnel that houses your propeller shaft for the all-wheel drive variants. However, for this car you do not have the transmission tunnel, rather you have a very nice flat floor, meaning 3 passengers can comfortably sit at the rear of this car. Also at the rear of this car you also have a very nice center console, and you have very nice cup holders. Yeah, you also have very nice cup holders just to make that, just to add a sense of luxury and premium feel at the rear. However, hapa nyuma, unlike in the Mazda CX-5 where you had charging ports, the people who will be seated here, wala watu wa lift wenye wapenda kucharge simu, they will not be able to charge their phones. However, it still just gets the job done. Wala watu wa lift wenye wapendi kucharge simu, ukiona rafiki yako amekujia na Harrier, make sure you have already charged your phone, unlike maybe in the 2017 Mazda CX-5 where you had charging ports at the rear. However, you also have ISOFIX anchor points on both the left hand side and the right hand side of the rear seats, meaning if you have kids you can comfortably hold them at the rear of the 2017 Toyota Harrier. So I told you we'll be talking about the trim levels that come with this car. So on the 2017 Toyota Harrier you have 4 or 5 trim levels. On the base trim you have the Grand trim, which is the base trim of the 2017 Toyota Harrier that comes with the necessities that you need. Some of them do not have leather seats, but it still just gets the job done. When you climb up the ladder you have the Elegance trim that comes with nice features like the sunroof or the powered seats for the both passengers and the driver at the front. However, you can also climb that ladder and go to the premium trim. The premium trim offers other fancy features like the JBL sound system and also the sunroof. However, for the top trim you have the GS trim. The GS trim is the one that comes with body kits and also comes with very nice alloy wheels. Let's hop to the rear and let's see the space that we have at the boot of the 2017 Toyota Harrier. So when you come at the rear of the 2017 Toyota Harrier, you can tell that the elfiness design language still flows to the rear of this car. On top you have a very nice subtle spoiler that just makes this car look a little bit sporty as compared to maybe the Mazda CX-5 that does not come with a roof spoiler. Also, you also have your shark fin antenna that just make this car look a little bit elegant and stylish and sporty. Flowing down onto your rear taillights, you also have very nice LED taillights that just make this car look a little bit sporty. And also on the tailgate you also have a powered tailgate just to add a sense of luxury and convenience when you are shopping and hauling goods using this car. Also, when it comes to the boot space and practicality of this car, you can tell that this car has a very huge boot space as compared maybe to the 2017 Mazda CX-5 that is a little bit crumpled up, meaning you will haul more goods as compared to the 2017 Mazda CX-5. Also, under the false floor you have ample space where you can haul maybe other luggage, maybe suitcases underneath the false floor. Now you do tell me, the elephant in the room will be, how much is the 2017 Toyota Harrier going for? For this trim, the 2-liter turbocharged, the 2-liter turbocharged, it is going for around 3.6 million Kenyan shillings at Kaman Autos along Kiambu Road. However, you can still come and check a variety of other vehicles. So what are some of the competitors that the 2017 Toyota Harrier competes with? For 3.6 million shillings, it is slightly overpriced as compared to other competitors. For example, the Mitsubishi Outlander, which I did a full review of it, you can still check it. The link is in the description below. It is going for around 3.3 million, which is the PHEV version. The Mazda CX-5, the turbo diesel one, which I also did a full review of it, goes for around 3 million. However, for the 2017 turbo version of the Harrier, goes for around 3.6 million. However, for the 2-liter natural aspirated, it will go for around, give or take, 3.3 million Kenyan shillings. So who is the person that is going to buy this car? The person who is going to opt for the 2017 Toyota Harrier as compared to maybe the Mazda CX-5 is a person who wants convenience, peace of mind, and can afford this car at the same time. Because if you compare it with the 2017 Mazda CX-5, the diesel one, you'll have to do other things like maybe the DPF delete or watch out for maybe where you fuel. But for the 2017 Toyota, which comes in only petrol variants, you still have a variety of options to choose from. You can decide to go the natural aspirated way, which is slightly cheaper than the turbo one, or you can go the hybrid version of the engine option that you choose. However, if you want the full power of this car, you can go for the 2-liter turbocharged, which is this one that we have which we have today. So for 3.6 million shillings, what can you get? You can still get other brands. However, for the competitors, I feel like it's a little bit overpriced. But if you value peace of mind and you do not want to deal with maybe the deleting of the cutback and also the DPF delete, you can still opt to go for the 2017 Toyota Harrier. So do tell me below the comment section, will you take the Toyota Harrier or will you take the Mazda CX-5? For me, for the looks, I'll go for the Mazda CX-5. However, for performance, since this car comes with a 6-speed automatic gearbox and a turbo, I think the Harrier that has the turbo will slightly have a competitive edge as compared to the diesel engine options. Because one thing with diesel engine options, they tend to have a flat rate, where once you exceed your Newton meters of torque, you cannot progress up to that point. However, for the petrol engines, they keep on going and keep on going. So I've been your host, Joseph Njoroge. Stick by for more reviews. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.